Ladies and gentlemen, today we showed you some very complex fields of development. The application of these technologies is definitely a great challenge to our business. It seems very difficult to implement these in a smart and meaningful way. And it is. But we love challenges. And we did our job building a vehicle that shows what the van of tomorrow can accomplish. With a fully automated loading space, integrated delivery drones, and a unique way of communication between driver and environment. Driving locally emission-free and delivering goods without any noise. A van that offers the intelligence of a modern logistic hub and enabling new ways for same-day and time-definite delivery. Ladies and gentlemen, I now present the future of Mercedes-Benz Vision Van.
Thank you for your order. Delivery on its way. Shipment delivered.
So, ladies and gentlemen, what a great vehicle, isn't it? I can tell you we are all very proud of it. It will support deliveries in many ways. Most impressive is, of course, the drone delivery. You can get your parcel when you are out of home. Just pick it up from the drone box when you come back, like Sebastian. Great. And I hope you had a great time here at our Van Innovation Campus. I told you about the future of our business, and you experienced our projects, ideas, and innovations. I told you at the beginning, Mercedes-Benz Vans in 2020 will be a different company than today. This van will be our vanguard of change. So, please join me on stage to take a closer look and some pictures. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Mercedes-Benz Vans and welcome to our Innovation Campus here in Stuttgart. It's really good to have you here in the city where it all started. The invention of the automobile, the birth of Mercedes-Benz, and the success story of Mercedes-Benz Vans. With all the transportation history that has happened here, we think there's no better place to talk about the future. Great things lie ahead. The world of transportation and logistics is changing, and so are we at Mercedes-Benz Vans. We want to be the ones leading that change, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is what today is all about. To be more precise, today is about sharing new strategy for Mercedes-Benz Vans, our most exciting new ideas and projects, introduce our new partners, and an entirely new approach to our business. To bring all that to life, we have a very dense and entertaining program for you today on our campus here in this hall. We start with an open forum and 2 keynote speakers, followed by time for your initial round of questions. After that, small groups will move into breakout sessions that we call Expo Labs. These basically are small exhibition stands where we present you actual projects, innovations, and partnerships. In the end, we will back here in this forum for the grand finale and a fascinating new vehicle that brings all the topics of today together. For the Expo Labs, you already have your lanyard with a card and your personal timetable. You can wear your headset for translation throughout the entire day, throughout the entire campus. Now, my tip is to become students again on our campus and to go on a discovery through the Expo Labs. I think they're just astounding. In those labs, you can dive deep into entirely new topics, engage with your fellow students, so to say, and of course, please feel free to challenge your professors. Of course, you can discuss your discoveries over lunch, which will serve you around 2:15. And at all times, we're happy to hear your thoughts in social media channels. The hashtag for today is VanInnoCampus. All media materials, and there are plenty, multimedia materials can be found on our media site, located at die/VanInnoCampus 2016. One important note about the press release for today. On our special vehicle of the day, you will receive the full press kit here on site shortly before 3 p.m., before the reveal, before anybody else. 2 hours before that, we will send out the initial press release on this vehicle via email and, of course, deliver that to your inbox as well. Ladies and gentlemen, let's now turn to our 2 main speakers of the day. I'm very pleased to welcome Volker Monninweg, the head of Mercedes-Benz Vans, and our host this morning. He will shortly present to you the major shifts and disruptions he and his team have identified for their business, the new Mercedes-Benz Vans strategy, and some pretty concrete measures to transform their business. But before we get to you, Volker, it's time to introduce our guest speaker, our guest lecturer, so to say, for today's campus. Here's someone who thinks about the forces shaping the future every day. In fact, the Wall Street Journal has called him one of the leading futurists in the world. He's a very well-known speaker and author, and he will show you how our world is changing, what this not only means for our personal lives, but also the nature of the business we're in, transportation, and ultimately, Mercedes-Benz Vans. Please welcome our guest speaker. Please welcome Mr. Gerd Leonhardt. Welcome.
Yes, hello, good morning, good morgen, bonjour à tous. So it's exciting to be here to talk to you about the future. The future is something, of course, that's very hard to predict, so I will not actually try to predict the future. I will share some observations about what is coming in the next couple of years and what we have to be careful of and what we have to look forward to. So first of all, let me get my clicker going here. We are looking at a world that's dramatically changing. I like to say that humanity will change more in the next 20 years than the previous 300 years. And not all of that will be totally exciting, of course. There's many issues with that. But if you're looking at things today around us, you can safely say that science fiction is becoming science fact. Self-driving cars, language translation on the mobile device, right? Drones, robots, artificial intelligence. Many opportunities and quite a few challenges that we will have to tackle in this future. Most importantly, this curve, the exponential curve. You know about Moore's law, Metcalfe's law, it's kind of an old hat, right? But technology doubling in power every 2 years and becoming twice as cheap, that means now we're at the take-off point on this curve. So it's a very important thing to notice that in the beginning of this curve, you actually don't feel it changing, because when you double 0.01, you still have nothing. Right? But when you double 4 to 8 and to 16, 32, in 6 steps, you're at 128. That's 7 years from now. If you have kids today that are roughly the age, say 25, when they have kids, it's quite likely they will never drive a car that does not have a computer in it to drive it for them. They may never know what a CD looks like. They may not know what a book looks like, which is a scary thought, because I write books, right? So it's kind of a good thing to have books. But we're looking at a world that's at the takeoff point, and this is why we can't afford to wait. I'd like to say that wait and see means waiting to die. Because technology is now so explosive, moving so quickly, that we really have to know how we approach this. Just look at the way that we're always on, connected, interconnected at high speed, how much money and time is being spent on the Internet of Things. Right? This is really impacting how we live, how we transport things. Artificial intelligence, künstliche Intelligenz. Right? This is something where we have to say, well, mind-boggling idea that computers can think, right? Thinking machines? That's kind of a strange thought. Obviously, they will never think like we do. Right? But hopefully they'll do something meaningful to make our life easier. And of course, this is really impacting business to business now in commerce. This is not just geeks and kids on social networks. Right? This is impacting everything across the food chain: logistics, supply, procurement, right? Environmental control. So we're looking at the future where this curve means exponential data. Data is the new oil. You know, that saying is 12 years old. It's finally true. The most powerful companies in the world are companies that deal with data. I have a slide on that shortly. Intelligence, machines that can help us think, the sort of convergence of man and machine. There's lots of ethical issues that we'll have to tackle on this. It's by no means finished, a finished discussion, right? And then ultimately the question is, what is the human purpose? Right? How does it serve us to be happy? Right? Technology should serve us, not us serving technology. Very important thing to remember in the future, that everything that we do has to be towards that goal, right? Providing a context for humanity. But I live in Switzerland, so I pick a cow, right? The cows are getting connected in Switzerland. And you know why? Because they want to figure out when they're eating, how much they're eating, where they're going to, and so on, making things more efficient, more transparent. And then, of course, we have this syndrome, I would say, that basically we're never offline, right? In fact, you could simply say that offline is a new luxury. So when you go away and you're offline, you're like, oh God, you know, I can finally disconnect. It's the opposite than it used to be. Cars that speak to our garages, and of course drones bringing our pizza. On that, I wouldn't be sure, both about the pizza and about the drones, but we'll talk about that later. Everything is becoming connected and smart. These days, if you want to start a new business, all you do is you take the current business, you put smart in front of it, right? Smart farming, smart cities, smart transportation, smart media, smart entertainment, smart medicine. It's exploding. This world is run by giant supercomputers. Many companies already have machines that are 1 million times as powerful, 40 quadrillion calculations per second. The most powerful computer in the world, that's 4 times as much as the human brain. And companies who do this, you can see the chart here, they are the data companies, right? They're companies that used to be the oil companies, the most powerful companies in the world, and we fought wars for oil, of course. Right? Now it's the data companies. Look at the usual competitors. Alphabet, of course, is Google, right? So these companies are also going to innovate the space of pretty much anything, anywhere, anytime. This is why it's important to look at what they're doing. Artificial intelligence, machines that can tell us what to do next. Right? Augmented reality, virtual reality, the Internet of Things, right? The connectivity of devices. And this is what we get. Right? Becoming as God, some people would say. I'm not religious, it's kind of a strange discussion, but we're becoming superhuman in a way. Right? We can use technology to do things that were impossible. We can have a team of 2 people do something that used to be 1,000 people. And then we have 500 people working on new jobs, for example, operating drones that didn't used to exist. People ask me about this all the time. Will there be new jobs? There will be new jobs, right? Maybe not as many as we would hope, different discussion. But quite clearly, this is a world that we're going to look forward to. And really what happens here is something that you may experience when you use your e-book reader. You know, I travel a lot, so I notice I've bought 10 times as many books on the e-book reader than I bought in print. Right? And I have the queue of my books is like 287 books. Right? I would have never bought that many books in real life, but we're going on this transition from physical to digital, and it impacts cars and transportation and tourism and telepresence, pretty much in this order. Anything that has happened in the music business, I used to be in the music business, in the media business, and anything that happened in music, for example, or films and television, we're going to see in the other sectors. The changes will be gigantic and new opportunities, and of course, transportation, mobility, logistics is right on top of that list. Right? Who would have thought 6 years ago that every major car company in the world is working on autonomous cars, shared cars, electric cars, of course. Right? And some people are saying that this would be optimistic, of course. In 5 years, we may only fill up our electric-powered vehicle once a month. Right? Imagine the difference in behavior. Right? Mind-boggling change. Go back to the music business for a second to tell you what happened when you're not in time, right? When you're refusing to actually acknowledge what is possible. When I worked in the music business, I used to be a musician and producer. I actually sold records, you know, the round things, you know, that, yeah, okay, plastic things, right? Now, of course, you know that the music business is all about streaming. And the record companies, in their wisdom, said they don't want people to stream because it will make less money. Right? And you see on this curve what happened here. The new music business is not Sony, Universal, Warner, right? It's Apple and Spotify and YouTube and Baidu and Facebook. Right? There is a new business, but you're not getting it. And that is something we want to avoid if you're in business, right? We want to be able to preclude the kind of thinking and not be disrupted and diminished. So in this wave of disruption, you know, the first wave really was media, phone calls, and of course computing and data. Now on top of that wave is transportation. Down here we have the military, defense, and of course government and insurances and so on. And really, it's a mind-boggling time to witness the change of digital transformation of transport and mobility. And I think the B2B sector will be first to drive this because of efficiency, better services, better relationships with customers, new possibilities. So I really look forward to seeing that later. But I think the key to future success of this is to create powerful platforms. You know, the most successful companies in the world today, they're all platform companies, you know, and there's sort of a term people use in America called platform feudalism, right? Which in many ways is not all that positive, but you can say, what have they done? They've become indispensable. Right? They create new ecosystems, and you can say many things that, you know, we don't like about Facebook and so on, but powerful platforms, and I think this is the key for the future, is to invent platforms of logistics and of cities and smart transportation. I look forward to seeing that in place. One thing that's happening here quite clearly is that in this world, we're moving towards a new ecosystem, a new logic. Think about the things for a second that matter most to you. Right, today, I think this week, people are gathering in what's called Burning Man. Any of you familiar with Burning Man? This big event in California in the desert. I don't know why you would go to the desert for this, but people do. And this is about the experience. People want to have experiences. And the more digital we are, the more we want the actual experience, the experience economy. This is very important to realize for business, because we're moving in the world from commodities to goods, to services and experiences, providing experiences. And that's what we have to do to be successful. I'll give you a couple examples, and I think it's quite obvious to see that providing experience is actually pretty difficult because it involves an ecosystem. Take these guys. Anybody recognize this? This is the bar on top, on the 380 on Emirates. They have a bar there, and even though I don't use the bar because it's not actually good to drink much when you're flying, as I'm sure you're aware of, right? But it's a meeting point, right? It's an experience. And then, for example, Emirates makes it possible to check in 48 hours before you fly rather than 24. And we can be lucky if 24 hours would actually work at Swiss Air, for example. But I have to say, I still like flying Lufthansa and Swiss, but at the same time, the experience, right, is just different. So what would that be for transportation? For the driver, for the customers, for the city, for the citizens? That's what we have to look for. And this is where the innovation comes in, where it's all about creating an ecosystem that makes sense. Right? The key word here is liquid. You know, if you're going on a social network, whatever you're using these days, it's a liquid experience, right? It just goes boom, and you've shared something to all your friends and back, and it's instant, whatever service you're using. That's the power of WhatsApp, for example. Right? Instant, liquid, not secure, not private really, but yes, it's liquid. Right? And this is really what we want. We want liquid experience. Why would we accept a service that is not liquid, that is completely different than anything else that we're doing? That requires a different kind of technology to be used. And it's interesting to see that the companies who are doing this, as many bad things that we can say about all of these guys, right? They have an entirely different paradigm. Right? Airbnb owns no hotels or real estate. Facebook is the biggest media company, owns no media. The biggest taxi company, Uber, owns no cars. And the biggest, most valuable retailer, Alibaba, does not have any inventory. What does that mean for our future? Well, it means that we have to be ready for some serious changes, to think about how we can become ecosystems and platforms. This is one of the changes, voice control. We've talked about this, right, talking about exponential. We talked about this for the last 20 years, never really worked. But now, just right now, computers are about 98% there in understanding natural language. And that means about 34 languages, not Finnish or Swiss German, but pretty much anything else. Right? You can speak to a computer like you speak to a friend. In fact, some people think that computers become our friends. Right? I would challenge that. But anyway, we can speak to our computers. And very soon we're going to stop typing. This is only a year or two away. Imagine what that means, for example, for delivery of goods. Right? Speaking to the computer says, hey, I've got a problem, do X, Y, Z, right? Or order something, or instant updates. Right? You've seen, of course, a couple services that do this, really, but the bottom line is, what we've seen in the last few years is like 0.01 on the exponential scale, and now we're at 4. I can guarantee you that your kids in 5 to 8 years will not even know what an app is. Right? They'll just speak to whatever they have, like they speak to a person. Right? Intelligent digital assistants. And if you're looking at the growth here, this is already an understatement. Right? I mean, it's going to change the way of driving, of transportation, of cities. Right? The past is going into the rearview mirror. We're going high speed, warp drive into a future that we have a hard time imagine sometimes. One of the challenges is this one. Right? People, humans, are not exponential. We are linear. Right? We are not going to grow like a computer. We can't put more memory into the slot. We have 10 quadrillion processes per second we can do. We're not going to do 100 quadrillion. So what will we do in the future? I think many of you are asking that question. I get it all the time. What will humans do in the future if the machines do all these things? Well, the bottom line is this, really great little clip here from IBM. We're going to move up the food chain. We're not going to compete with computers on data and information. We're just not. Today, you kind of can, because computers aren't that smart yet, but they're getting there very quickly. We're moving up the food chain towards intelligence, knowledge, and ultimately a kind of wisdom, right? Something that only people can do. When I meet you out in the hallway by accident, you know, it takes an average human 1.4 seconds to evaluate the other person. And that's without saying a single word. Computers are a long time away from that. We're going to need those skills more than ever before, and what's called emotional intelligence. People don't buy stuff because of computers and fancy algorithms or whatever technology, right? They buy stuff because of relationships. It's very important to keep that in mind for the future. We're going to need a really clever combination of algorithms and technology, which you're going to see today. And without that, I think the future is pretty grim as well. But then we also need this, I call this sometimes the androrhythms, right? Like the algorithms, the human things. And this is the ideal future if we can combine those two things in our products, in our services, in our brands, right? Brand and purpose. So it's quite clear the future is going to involve that we are going to increasingly work with smart machines, software, robots, drones, machines, technology. I think what it means for us is that we can give up on the routine work, on the things that we could give to machines, and focus on those things that are human only. A driver with an automated vehicle can do many other things, right, that maybe a computer couldn't do, like communicate, understand people, prepare. Right? Definitely a future where we have to think about what that means. Here's the role of digital Darwinism. I'm sure you've noticed, many of you are journalists, right? This is clearly a topic. Anything that can be digitized and automated will be. I write books. I was a musician and producer. Today in the studio you have a software that plays the guitar, right? You have iPads that play the music. But here's the good news. I think this is what we have to hold on to the future. Anything that cannot be digitized or automated becomes extremely valuable. And you know what that is? 95% of our lives cannot be digitized. Right? Compassion, empathy, feelings, emotions, intuition, storytelling, creativity, all these things. That's what we're going to do in the future. If we can sit on top of technology doing that, that would be the perfect world. Let's hope we get there. We're going to need some pretty smart politicians. Well, that's an oxymoron anyway, but we're going to think about how we do this in the future. As Kevin Kelly said from Wired magazine, computers are for answers, people are for questions. I think that's going to be an important way for us in the future to look at this. Also, the other thing is that as we're looking at today's vehicles later on, efficiency is great, right? And every company wants to maximize efficiency. But let's not forget one thing about this, right? The new paradigm is ultimately efficiency has to serve a human purpose. And you know what the purpose of business is? Customer happiness, right? Customer delight. There's a difference, right? Efficiency is not the same as delight. We should not forget that when we roll out new products, when we talk about what we can do about the future. Because humanness is something that requires things that can't be automated. Trust, relationships, values cannot be automated. I think that's something that we need to keep in mind when we're looking at the future, what it brings and where we're going. So let me give you a brief summary of my key theme here. I think it's very exciting to be part of that change today. It's about 95% things I would say. It's extremely exciting. Humanity on top of technology. Those are things that we're going to look at. And this is kind of the summary I would give you to say, well, it's really all about data, information, intelligence, and ultimately a kind of human purpose. Everything that we do should serve that purpose, right? Technology is not what we seek, it's how we seek. Let's keep in mind, however, if we don't have technology to do the how we seek, right, then we probably won't get to the other part either, right? So it's kind of a mutual relationship, right, if we look in this direction. I'll leave you with a quote of my mentor, David Bowie, who said already 20 years ago, rest in peace, by the way, tomorrow belongs to those who can hear it coming. So I wish for you to enjoy the day and hear the future, see the future today. And now I want to introduce Mr. Volker Moorhenweg, the head of Mercedes-Benz Vans, who will talk to you about the same topics, the digital transformation of his industry, his products, and of course, the vehicles. Thanks very much for listening.
Yeah, Gerd Leonhard, thank you. Humanity on top of technology, I think you just gave a pretty accurate job description for working in the automotive industry. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Stuttgart and welcome to Mercedes-Benz Vans. I'm really happy that you could join us today, and I'm excited that we have the opportunity to talk about an important subject, the future. To be precise, the future of transportation, and of course, the future of Mercedes-Benz Vans. We will live in exciting times. The world is changing fast, and the internet is boosting us into a new age of connected mobility and transportation. Today, we raise the curtain and show you the future. I will tell you where we stand as a company, how our business is changing, and what our future holds. Mercedes-Benz Vans in 2020 will be totally different from the company you know today. This is not because of some fancy new models we are developing, which we definitely do, by the way. It is because of changes at the very foundation of our company. And before I tell you what exactly we have in mind, let's start with a tough question that some people may ask. Why change at all? 2015 was a record-breaking year for us, the best in our history. We sold 321,000 vehicles. We raised the revenue by 15%, and the EBIT by 29%. So far, this year is even better. In the first 6 months, we set a new record. We increased the revenue by 19%, raised our EBIT by 56%, and sold 21% more than in the first half of 2015. Overall, we had a return on sales of 11%. Judging by these numbers, we are on top of our game. It seems that we have, and we don't need to change. We clearly understand our customers' demands and are perfectly aligned with the current state of transportation. So again, why change? We heard it here. The whole world is changing. And the thing about change is this: you can be driven by it, or you can drive it yourself. And if you haven't already guessed, we prefer to lead the parade. Nowadays, we hear more and more about megatrends. And those are the key to our future business. 2 megatrends in particular have a significant impact on our business and our customers. The first megatrend is urbanization. About 1.3 million people have and move into cities every week. More than half of the world's population lives in cities today. By 2030, it will be 2/3. Urbanization is dramatically transforming the size and the structure of cities, as well as the way we live in them. Megacities are converging into urban mega regions, stretching over hundreds of kilometers. The London metropolitan area, for example, is currently home to 14 million people. In 4 years, round about 16 million people will live there. Urbanization opens up many opportunities, but it also challenges our business. Traffic and supply demands in these regions require a special kind of infrastructure and a special kind of distribution system. More on that later. The second megatrend relevant to us is digitalisation, and it changes the needs and behavior of individuals, especially those living in urban areas. For example, e-commerce is growing globally, and delivery services are changing in a massive scale. Just think about Amazon and Alibaba. It's not only standard goods, but also food delivery. E-grocery is expected to increase by almost 10% annually. It perfectly matches the needs and lifestyle of the city crowd and the urban individual. This development has a major impact on our business. Customers expect their goods to be delivered on time. No doubt, the internet changes our business and it broadens our opportunities. That brings me to the most important question and the reason why we have invited you here today. How do we, as Mercedes-Benz Vans, adapt all these developments? Ladies and gentlemen, we already heard about ecosystems. The answer to these questions is also given by nature. When the environment changes, you either evolve or disappear. And so we evolve from a manufacturer to a provider. We are enhancing and expanding our business from developing and producing vans to providing complete transport solutions. We will be a provider of holistic systems to make the value chain of our customers as efficient as possible. Let me give you 4 examples. For one thing, we seek to reduce emissions and noise to unburden the inner cities and make urban transport more sustainable. I am convinced that increasing traffic and limited distances will quickly make e-mobility, a common sight in our cities. It will improve the air quality and lower noise levels. And it will even become an important option for transport vehicles. This is definitely a challenge worth taking up. You will hear more on this on September the 20th on our IAA Media Night. Next, we want to optimize cargo space, make the most out of our vehicles' loading capacity, or simplify the working process of our customers. Loading and unloading should be easier, and the process quicker and more flexible. Furthermore, we want to integrate smart technologies into the vehicle in order to make the daily business more efficient. Our vans will become an integrated part of the digital world and chain, and they will compute data like a hub. The van of the future should know what's loaded inside of it, where it's headed, and when it's expected by the customer. But ultimately, we want to think a step further than that and develop intelligent transportation systems. Gerd Leonhard spoke about platforms, and platforms are perfect for this. A whole new kind of business model suited to the digital era. A platform matches supply and demand and creates value by enabling close interactions between customers and providers. Of course, every player needs to cooperate with the platform owner. And that makes platforms a very valuable business model. This is why we want to develop suitable vehicles for platforms as well as the matching services. Our general approach remains the same. We want to add value to our customers' business. But with a digital holistic approach, we can reach an entirely new level. Within the Internet of Things, the vehicle itself will become a connected thing. How will we do that? We advance. 6 years ago, when I became head of Mercedes-Benz Vans, we introduced our strategy, Mercedes-Benz Vans Goes Global, in order to become a truly global player. As you might remember, our strategy consisted of 3 pillars: global market strategies, portfolio expansion, and a new business model. In regard to the mega trends changing our world, the 3rd pillar becomes increasingly important, especially in terms of technological leadership. That's why we are enhancing this branch of our strategy with a new initiative for the future. We call it Advance. Advance describes a whole new era of expertise where we identify and realize new intelligent solutions for present and future demands. In order to do this, we have identified 3 fields of action. First, a new approach to connectivity called digital advance. Second, a new approach to all kinds of hardware-based solutions called solutions advance. And finally, a new approach to mobility itself called mobility advance. With advance, we rethink mobility and benefit from connected logistics. This holistic approach will eventually lead to new products and new services. To make a long story short, we will expand our business model from beyond the hardware of a van. Let's talk about digital advance first, because it enables so many new developments. It means nothing less than migration our vehicles into the digital world. We will upgrade our vans with enhanced internet features tailor-made for transportation. An onboard telemetry unit will collect, compute, and transmit data to make businesses more efficient. That way, the owner's fleet management can greatly improve and increase productivity and leveraging potential savings. Take delivery, for example. Fleet managers can view free loading space, fuel levels, and even the roads on their fleet on a single screen. Algorithms calculate detours so the managers can contact the vehicle of choice and transmit the detour to the driver's navigation system. With just a few clicks in just a few minutes. In the end, our customers will save time and money and be able to offer better services to their clients. Our second field of action tackles the everyday issues of our customers and is called Solutions Advance. It includes system solutions for the last mile logistics and transportation in crafts and services, as well as additional branches. All these solutions will be perfectly integrated into our products. Let me give you an example regarding our delivery customers. On an average run, delivering 180 parcels, a driver needs to resort this cargo 10 times. Stop for 3 to 4 minutes per delivery in suburban areas and take 2,000 steps per hour. This is expensive. Our goal here is to reduce these numbers and make these easier and more profitable. That's why we are developing smart shelves, fully automated and customized by algorithm. Our delivery customers will know exactly how the cargo space is segmented. The automated shelves will put the right article where it needs to be in the van, just in time. What's more, new cargo space technologies like one-shot loading will highly improve loading efficiency. All these measures will be fully implemented and tailor-made for our Mercedes-Benz Vans. They will integrate the vehicle into the value chain as an active agent, boost efficiency, and improving working conditions. But as I already mentioned before, we also strive to improve the logistics in general. That is why we will provide land and airborne solutions for the last mile deliveries via drones and self-driving robots. Our vans will be equipped with matching interfaces so that they can easily communicate with these systems. We interconnect vans, drones, and robots to ensure the most efficient way of delivery. For these little robotic helpers, the van will be a mothership, or a mother van if you like. Drones and robots will swarm out like busy bees, working hard for our customers' business. On the long run, we want to establish a holistic network with smart transport in various ways. This leads me to our third field of action: a new approach to mobility itself. With mobility at Vans, it becomes clear when we say we are evolving into a mobility provider. We provide mobility on demand for two reasons. First, we have to rethink urban transport. It's built on an infrastructure that is no longer capable to provide mobility to an even and ever-growing number of vehicle owners. According to a study until 2030, the traffic jam in France, Germany, and UK and US will cost economies almost 4 billion euros if we don't stop this development. So we have to reduce traffic while improving transportation. The second opportunity for new mobility solutions is linked to a whole new group of customers. Just think of small companies who can't afford a whole vehicle fleet. We are now working on new rental and sharing models where customers pay for using a vehicle and not for owning it. With car-to-share cargo, for example, we are improving fleet management and unburdening inner cities. As the name already implies, we are offering van sharing for fleets, combined with a smart planning tool, managing peaks and downturns. But car sharing is only one extreme in the usage market. We want to provide a complete offer for pay per use. In general, this development from ownership to usership is crucial for mobility advance. And as I said earlier, platform-based businesses are perfect for this. They match supply and demand, providing exactly the right kind of transportation for every situation. And yes, some of these new business models seem very far from our core product. But with our new self-concept as a full service provider, we will be able to easily integrate those areas into our business strategy. Ladies and gentlemen, Advance enables Mercedes-Benz Vans to transform from manufacturer of vehicles to a provider of solutions. And in order to fully engage in that initiative, we are also changing our corporate culture. We want to combine the experience of a global player with the pioneering spirit of startups. That's why we want to attract young visionaries and other digital natives to careers at Mercedes-Benz Vans. We have already invested 500 million euros on project around about 200 people to support our new direction. Our teams work in our newly opened innovation hubs in Stuttgart, Berlin, and Silicon Valley. Ladies and gentlemen, you will already see the first results of their work. In this hall, we will show you 10 exposition labs representing the 3 focus areas of our Advance initiative. For Digital Advance, we'll present our new digital approach to innovation. On the Cargo Space Sensor Systems Lab, for example, you can see our first approach to connect the vans with the cargo space. In the Mobile Material Service Lab, we present our cooperation with Fischer and Sortimo and how we plan to help crafts and services with replenishing cargo systems. With our B2B Connectivity Solution Lab, we show you how we offer flexible connectivity, thanks to a wide variety of branches and fleet sizes. Our new approach to hardware-based solutions is also located in the back. There we have the first results of our cargo space engineering. A great efficiency enhancement for loading and unloading. In the same area, we present our cooperation with Matternet and Starship. In the Future Vehicle Concept Lab, you will see our approach to e-mobility and emission-free driving. Across, you will find our new approach of mobility itself. In our cooperation with VR and Movement, you can see how we optimize local public transportation by providing a needs-based transportation system. In the rental and car share area, you see our approach to pay-per-use. Long and short-term rentals with tailored fleet management and operate lease. To round things up, you can see in this field how we are changing our corporate culture in general. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure we all sense that this is the beginning of a new era. A new digital era of transportation, but also a new era for Mercedes-Benz Vans. I look forward to it. I told you at the beginning about our record-breaking previous year and the promising first half of 2016. And I'm convinced that our strength and success enable us to succeed not only today, but also tomorrow, because we change. We boldly go our own way, leaving the beaten tracks. And what I told you over the last few minutes was an action plan and a roadmap to our company's future in transportation. As of now, we are providing transport solutions for the digital era. The van of the future will be a connector. It will connect all parts of a value chain and enable versatile exchange between every relevant shareholder and stakeholder. A Mercedes-Benz van will be like a commercial hub on wheels, like a node in a digital network of the Internet of Things. And I think of our future vans as platforms, because that is how business in the digital era works best. The Advance initiative will lead us there. We have committed our company to this strategy, and I am glad that our team is highly motivated to engage. Later this day, you will see more of it. We have built something very special, a vehicle that is a van and a vanguard. A vision of things to come and a manifestation of everything new we are developing and presenting today in our Expo Labs. The Vision Van is our vanguard of change and the future of transportation. But enough of words. I invite you to experience all these for yourselves, with first showcases in our Expo Labs and later on stage for real. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.